Yay! Hello, hello, everybody. Lori here from Unique in the Creek. We are live. Yay! We're streaming on both YouTube and Facebook right now. Say hello when you come in. Let me know you're there. Today we are going to make a daisy wreath. I know it's still snowing and it's cold everywhere and everything. We're going to make a daisy wreath, but we're going to make it for beginner style. Okay, so pretty much if you can work some scissors, you're going to be able to make this wreath. Okay, that is what we're doing. Well, that's what we're aiming for. So again, say hello when you come in. Let me know you're here. And we are going to get started. My chat is not working. Alrighty, well, I'm not sure why my chat's not working. Okay, well, let me know you're here anyways. I will pop over on YouTube and Facebook to make sure everybody can see me, and it looks like I am streaming. So, like I said, today's live, we're going to be doing a beginner daisy. A beginner daisy. We're going to be using 40 pieces, 40 pieces of white 10.5 by 10.5 inch mesh. If you have the rolled mesh, you can cut it in 10 by 10 or 10.5 by 10.5, depending on how long your roll is. Even if it's 10.5 with this petal is very, very forgiving. You can even cut it at 10.5 or 10 inches, even if the width of your roll is 10.5. You can still cut at 10 inches and save a little bit of mesh. We're going to be today I'm going to be using pre-cut mesh, 40 pieces of white. I'm going to be using the large board. I'm going to be using 8 pieces of the green. This is the green that I used the other day with the sunflower. The sunflower. This time we're going to be using a yellow center since we are doing a daisy. Okay, we're going to be putting our ladybug. So it's pretty much the same concept as the sunflower we did a couple days ago, except for the petal is different for the daisy. That's pretty much it. So I'm going to get my center ready to go. Turn on my glue gun. So you're going to need some hot glue. So I'm going to go over to Facebook because I can't really see any. For some reason, I'm not seeing anybody's comments. Maybe over here. Hello, hello. So I can't see comments on YouTube, which is fine. Okay, so I'm going to cut. This is a 6.25 inch yellow center. We do have these on our website. And this is also included in our daisy kit, this yellow center and this ladybug. So I'm going to cut some of this wire off the ladybug, and I'm going to put the wire right in to the styrofoam. Plus I'm going to glue it. It's a little bit long. That's better. I'm just going to poke that right into the styrofoam. Turn our ladybug so she's kind of crawling off the center. Hello, hello. YouTube isn't working. I had a problem with YouTube the other day too. See, according to this, it says it's working. Weird. it live on YouTube. Yeah, we're live on YouTube and Facebook. Okay. So I'm going to just lift my little ladybug up. I'm going to dab a little bit of glue underneath her. If I put a glue stick in. Okay, and just hold that down. So we've stabbed the ladybug into the foam and also glued him. We're going to put our pipe cleaner and a cable mount on the back of the center here. Now if you got the kit, there is an adhesive center that you can put here, but I would recommend using just hot glue. The hot glue and the cable mount love each other. They love foam, so it kind of, when you push down, you hear the sizzle. Works wonderful. Okay, and again, do not push down with your fingers because that hot glue may come up through the cable mount and you'll burn yourself. So I just use my scissors to push down. Okay, and there, our center is ready to use when we are finished our wreath. Okay, so the board. Let's go through the board first. So I am going to be using the large board. Again, the large board has 5 circumferences and the numbers are on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we're going to be using row 2, 3, 4, and 5 for this project. We're going to be using the normal holes on row 2 and every other of the shared holes on row 2. I really liked how that green just kind of peeked out. Normally we put the green leaves on row 1. I really liked it on row 2, just them peeking out. So I'm going to replicate that again. Okay, you're going to take your zip ties and you're going to preload your board. This is something you can do on your lap while you're watching TV. Actually, your whole wreath can be done on your lap. If you're like me and like to watch TV and kick your feet up while you're wreathing. So what you're going to do to work a zip tie. A lot of people, believe it or not, do not know how to work a zip tie. So zip tie head has a flat part to it. The tail goes into the flat part of the zip tie head all the time. And when you pull it, you'll hear that zipping sound and it locks, okay? If you try and do it backwards, A, it's a little hard to do sometimes. And B, if you don't hear and it doesn't lock, check to make sure if you have it in backwards, because 9 times out of 10 you will. Sometimes we got faulty cable ties, and that's okay, but you should hear that zipping sound, okay? We're going to preload our board, and when you do that, get the flat part of your zip tie head, and it's going to face in between the 2 holes here. So face it in between, and we're going to start where the number 2 is to preload this, okay? So where the number 2 is, you're going to go down that first hole, bring the tail of your zip tie back up. Okay, there's our flat side of our zip tie. Do the zip tie. You hear a couple clicks and it locks, leaving lots of space here for you to manipulate your mesh in and out. All right, and then we're going to move on to the next one. Again, zip tie head, the flat part, facing in between the 2 holes. Go down, back up. Hear that zipping, that clicking, and it's locked. Okay, you're going to do the 16 holes on row 2. We're going to do the 8 holes on row 3. So there's the number 3 there. We're going to do the exact same thing. Go down the 1 hole, back up the other. Okay, you hear the clicking and it's locked. Now there is holes in between the regular holes on row 3. These are for different projects, not for this one. So we're not going to worry about this single hole in between. You're just going to load the 8 on row 3 of the normal holes. Okay, and then you're going to do the same on row 4. Row 4 has 8 normal holes as well. And then row 5, we're going to do 4 of the normal holes, okay, so they're closer together, and we're going to do 4 shared holes, which are a little farther apart. Okay, so what you do, we're going to just start where the number 5 is. Okay, and then we're going to move to the next, to the shared. Okay, down, and then it's a little farther apart, and come back up. So we call it a shared hole because there is 2 zip ties in the one hole. So hence where shared holes came from. Okay, so I'm gonna show you my board's almost done. So I like to preload it all. So when you get your petals going, you don't have to stop and do your zip ties or wait to put some zip ties in. So I got 2 more here on row 2. And another way you can do it as well, some people like to put a container underneath, flip the board so it's the back side, and then you take your zip tie with your flat part and you just pop it in that way as well. Okay, you can do it either way. You just flip it over once you've popped your zip ties in, and then you can do it up. Now, like I said, I'm going to mimic I'm going to put green in row 2 instead of row 1 for the leaves again, because I really liked it. So what we're doing is you're going to use the shared space on row 2 and have clusters of 3 zip ties. So you got 1, 2, 3, a space. 1, 2, 3, space. 1, 2, 3, space. And then we got 1. And then I'm going to put this other one in here. And where I'm putting these ones is going to be green mesh, okay? Oh, well, great, Teresa. That's wonderful. I would love to see that, Teresa. If any of you are watching, we do have a sister group. It's Unique Wreath Creators. It's about 30,000 people, all that do Unique in the Creek boards. And they share everything in there. And there's so much talent in that group. It is free to join. We just ask you to answer the questions, just so we know that you know what Unique in the Creek is and everything, and that you know it's a Unique in the Creek group. But share away in there, everybody. If you have a question, people will answer it. It is a fabulous group. We also have a group, Canadian Wreath Makers, for all of our just Canadian friends, okay? All right. So we're going to need 8 green leaves. Like I said, I'm using the green left over from my sunflower kit. If you buy the daisy kit, you will get another package of green. And you'll have like 32 pieces of green left over. Again, you can save it and make a nice moss green wreath base on another board. Or you can save your leftover green mesh for more flowers, okay? So I'm going to do the Rita petal for my green leaves, okay? You can do whatever petal you want. Like I said, I really liked the look of the sunflower. So we're going to take your square piece of mesh, 10.5 by 10.5, all right? Top edge, bottom edge, factory edges. Okay, curl up. Now, the pre-cut mesh doesn't curl, but if it was a rolled mesh, you would use it curl up. Okay, so if it rocks back and forth, that's curl up. We're going to turn it into a diamond shape. We're going to bring that top corner down to the bottom corner. Okay, we're going to make sure that our corners here are done up. And again, if you did get a kit, you will have the steel clips in there. So we're just going to clip the 2 corners here, because those are what you're going to see. So just line it up. And if it's not a perfect square, you will be off down here a little bit. Don't worry about it, because nobody's going to see down here. Okay, so once you get it into a triangle, you're going to just, I like to flip it up about an inch, and you're going to follow that arrow. So you're just going to pinch and drag. Okay, right to the middle. Flip these. Make sure they're the same length. Take these off now. And this rounded part is what's going to go into our middle zip tie here of the cluster of 3. Okay, so we call this the nub. You're going to slide that into your zip tie about an inch in. Okay, and do your zip tie right over top of that. Okay, so these are going to be the green leaves. Now there's going to be 8 of them. And like I said, we made clusters of 3. What you can do is you can go around with your marker and actually mark your board. But I'm going to put all the green leaves in first. And then I'm going to go back and we're going to do the daisy petals. And we'll put the white in over top, and then the green will just peek through the white. Okay, so we'll do that again. Okay, your square in front of you, top and bottom, finished edge. Turn it to a diamond shape. Okay, top corner to the bottom corner. Just line these up. The leaves are not as important as if you were doing a whole flower with the Rita petal like we did with the sunflower. Okay, bring that corner up about an inch and then slide and pinch it up the center. Flip it. That nub, we're going to go into this space again, the middle space of the cluster of 3. And we're going to continue around till we have our 8. Now I've pre-made the rest of these green ones, so you just rubber band them, and I'll show you in a second how to rubber band them. So it's still very, very blustery out there. I just came back from the dentist and it is so slippery. The wind is blowing the snow all over the place. This weather, I'm telling you, not a great time to open a store in the middle in the winter, I guess. But our store is open for those of you that wanted to stop by. It's not finished, but it's open that you can pick up your orders or you can come look around and purchase stuff. But the store itself isn't completely finished like I want it to be, so. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and one more right here. We'll probably have a grand opening of the store, probably beginning of March when it's a little warmer. But feel free to come by. It's 2625 Stanley Avenue in Niagara Falls, Ontario. We are literally 5 minutes from the Queenston-Lewiston Bridge, right off the highway there. So, all right, now we have our green leaves are all done, okay? Now we're gonna do our daisy petal. This is, again, for beginners, but I think it's gonna turn out fabulous. So, beginners or not, this is going to be an easy wreath, okay? You're going to take your white. Now, you can do this flower with any color, okay? Most flowers have like a rounded petal anyways, right? So this is great for, I'm definitely making a red one with a yellow center because that's like my favorite. But 10.5 by 10.5 piece of white. Alrighty. Factory edge, just like at the top and bottom. Okay, curl up. So if you're cutting your mesh, it rocks back and forth. We're going to turn into a diamond shape again. You're going to take your top corner, you're going to bring it to your bottom corner. Then you're going to flip it. Now I'm right-handed, so I flip the bottom corner. I kind of flip it to the right. Again, my tattoo is my right hand. You get some of your rubber bands out. Again, if you purchase the kit, the rubber bands are in the kit. Top corner, bottom corner. We're going to flip it to the right. And here's where it's really important. What you want to do is take the tip of your bottom petal here, put it, I got it on the 20. We want to make a 4-inch tail. So even if you just have a ruler or something, you can use that. But we need a 4-inch tail for every petal. So there's the 4-inch right there. So if you take your bottom corner and you put it near the ruler, like that, you're going to pinch right in the middle at 4 inches, just like that. And then you're going to bring this edge, the top edge, just bring it to the middle. The bottom, bring it to the middle. And this gives us a 4-inch tail right here. Then don't let go, because where you've pinched at the 4-inch mark, you're going to put a rubber band. Just like that. This is our daisy petal for beginners. Normally we do, you know, like the gerbera petal or the lolly petal. This is the easiest petal you can do for for the daisy. Okay. So once you got your 4-inch tail, we're going to cut most of this off to just leave about an inch from your rubber band. Okay. So, and you're going to cut the rest of that bulk off. Okay. And then if you can, throw it into a laundry basket like I do, or put it into a shopping bag. So you can have all your petals pre-done, and then you just place the petals into the preloaded zip ties. So let's do that again. Okay, got your 10-inch piece, top and bottom. Okay, turn it to a diamond, top corner, going down to the bottom corner. You can notice I'm not flattening anything. So usually we flatten the top. Don't have to do that. Just spin it. Okay, we're going to go, I'm at the 20 here, so there's the 16. I'm going to pinch right there where the 4 inches is. Bring that top right into the center. The bottom right into the center. Gives us that 4-inch tail. And rubber band it. And then we're going to cut that off. Okay, so we're going to need 40, or the whole pack of white for the petals. Now, if you're using a roll of mesh, you're going to need 1 1/4 rolls for the 40 petals, okay? But that is our petal. Now, if you don't have rubber bands, it's not a big deal. We're going to do it the same, but instead of rubber banding it, you're going to put it right into your board. And that's why I like to have my board preloaded, so everything's ready to go. So what you can do is have your square, we're turning it, make your diamond shape, figure out your 4 inches. So I have it on the 18, so at the 14, bring that top edge in, the bottom edge into the center. Don't let go, but I am going to cut some of this bulk off. And then I'm going to slide this right into the zip tie until the zip tie hits my fingers. Then I know that the petal is in there at 4 inches. Okay, and then you're going to cut your zip tie tail. Now you can wait and cut your zip tie tails at the end if you want. As we're going around, once we're finished row 2, we can go around and cut them all. Another thing too, if you do not feel comfortable with just putting the petal in to the zip tie without using a stopper or anything, you can get your hot glue and just put a line of hot glue right across the tail of your petal. So from the board across to the other side of the board, put a little line of glue. Or you can lift your petal tail up and just put some on the back. Either way, if you want to add a little bit more stability in case somebody, pulls the petal, it's not going to come out. Nobody's going to really pull it, but I like to teach that, some people are not comfortable with just putting the petal into the zip tie. Okay, so that is the petal. So now what we're going to do, since I've already done pretty much all the work, because I have my basket of petals, where that rubber band is 4 inches. So all I'm going to do is slide in the end of my tail of my petal and do the zip tie right over top of the rubber band. Okay, and we're going to go around and do the whole row 2 just like that. Okay, just go clockwise or counterclockwise, but don't start here and then go over here and then over here. Just keep going around, putting your petals in just like this. So you don't have to tuck these petals in or these corners in or anything. All you're doing is tucking in, putting in the tail of this, and you'll start to see your petals looping. Now what you can do is you can do every other zip tie and then come back and put ones over top. So I'll show you. So this one's a top. Okay, so I'll show you now that I've fixed it. So instead, this one we put, it's at the behind, so I'm going to skip this one and I'm going to put this one in. And you'll see what I mean in 1 second. Okay, we're going to skip this one and put this one in. My hands are so dry, they have those little cuts in them, and it's so hard to use my hands with the little cuts. So skip, we'll put this one in. So if you're making flower wreaths, I do highly recommend preloading your board, pre-making your petals, and then you can literally make it in your lap while you're watching TV. Okay, so we did every other one. I can't even grasp it. My fingers are so sore. Hello, hello everybody. Hello. Thank you for joining me. Now I'm going to cut those zip tie tails off. And then I'm going to go around and fill in the rest of them. So these ones that we just put in, they're going to kind of lay in the back. And the one I'm putting in right now is at the top. So you can see how the rounded part goes in between those back ones. Can you see how it's starting to have that rounded petal that looks like a daisy? Easy. So this would be a great wreath to teach for a workshop, right? It's like literally if somebody can use some scissors, show them how to use a zip tie, they'll be able to make their own daisy wreath. You just want to kind of make sure that your corners are going towards the inner part. And if you do the 4 inches, that's what's really important to do, 4 inches, so that these corners do go down and they're not going to stick out as you're making your wreath. So this is the rose petal. You get that too? Your hands get so dry that they all crack. It hurts. Hurts, hurts, hurts. Okay, we have 2 more on row 2. And then as we're putting these petals in, they're going to start layering on top of each other, and you won't see the zip ties. Now, if you got the daisy kit from both Canada or the United States, you have a really special white mesh. Really pretty. Alrighty, so that is row 2, and we can go around and fix all of the greens and the green leaves and everything after, but that's what we got so far, right? There's row 2, so the whole wreath, even when it's done, this is what the back will look like. So row 2, we have sections of 3 zip ties that look like stitching. Alrighty, now we're going to move on to row 3, and we're going to do the exact same thing. You're just going to take your petal, put it in, and do your zip tie over top of your rubber band. Is there any questions? Any questions? I know this is a really simplistic wreath, but wait till you see the finished results. You're going to be amazed, even though it was so simple. And it doesn't cost very much to make because you're using 8 pieces of green. So one package will make 5 wreaths if you do 8 pieces of leaves per flower. There's 40 green pieces in each package. That will give you 5 flowers. And then 1 package of pre-cut mesh if you're using pre-cut mesh. So you need 40. And now if you don't have 40 pieces, you can skimp in row 5. But try and make sure, like especially if you have rolled mesh, make sure you have at least a roll and a half for your mesh to give you the 40 pieces. Again, if it's 10.5 inches long, your mesh roll, you can get away with only cutting it 10 inches. That'll save you some mesh. All right, that is row 3. So I'm going to put every other in behind. Oh, that one goes. Back. Okay, there we go. It's starting to look like a rose, but bear with me here. Once we put the yellow center on, it won't. All right, now we're in row 4, exact same thing. Again, this is just, it's a beginner daisy. So if you are just learning, this is an easy way to make a daisy. Most people use the lolly petal to make a daisy, but the lolly petal is a little tricky. And it's a little more advanced petal. This is obviously really simple. You've done 2 already, Laura Faye? Awesome. Did you guys post, did you post it in Unique Wreath Creators? I would love to see it. And we want to make sure that our tails, the ends of the petals are going downwards so they don't stick out. All right, 2 more. And then we're on row 5. We're almost done. Okay, that is the last on row 4. Flower wreaths sell really well as well. I don't know anybody that's done craft shows and not been able to sell sunflowers, roses, or daisies. So, because it's a really good price point, because it doesn't cost a ton to make, and it doesn't take a lot of time. So you can price them fairly inexpensively. And plus people have never seen them before, so they don't sell it in the store, so they sell really well. All right, last ones. We're going in row 5. So I'm just going to start anywhere in row 5. We're going to go right. You don't want to completely cover the 2 holes in the center because our yellow center is going to go in there. But you want to keep going clockwise or counterclockwise around. And then making sure that these corners are kind of being tucked in the center here. Trimming, I don't want too much bulk in the center, so I'm really trimming these ones down so they're not going to cover the 2 holes in the center. Did I zip tie that in somewhere? Okay. Yeah, it looks like a white rose for now. It won't. Now we're wreathers, so we know that this is how you make the rose, so automatically that's what our eye's going to think. But anybody that is not a wreath maker will not know that it kind of starts out as a rose. It's just round petals. Okay, 3 more. You can even make the inner ones a little smaller if you want to, so meaning maybe like a 5-inch tail. So this, where the elastic band is 4 inches. We can go up 1 more inch and do it right there. So it makes a smaller petal. Actually, let me try that. We're going to make a smaller petal for the row 5. So there's my rubber band, and that is 1 inch in right there. Oh, that might work better. So let's start that again. It's easy to change your mind and fix. Turn it over. And I'm just going to snip off these zip ties, and then we'll redo these 8 zip ties because I am going to make the row 5 just a little bit smaller petals. And they'll just kind of peek out from behind the yellow center. Okay, let's see. So there's, I'm gonna put it right there. So 8 at 5 inches. Yeah, that'll work better. Beautiful. And then I'm going to go to the next normal set. Again, put in a 5-inch tail one. Much better. Okay, and then again, the normal holes again. So I got my rubber band on there. There's 1 inch. Cut in between the 2 rubber bands there. And the last normal hole, and then we'll go back and do the 4 shared holes. Let's see. Okay, where's my yellow center? Oh, I just want to see. I'm going to put 4 more in. I just want to see. So if you're short a couple, this is where you can where you can cut a couple petals out. So if you only have 38 petals, there we go. See, once you put the yellow center on, definitely looks like a daisy. I'll go around and fix them, but I am going to put the next 4 in. So I did the normal on row 5. Now I'm going to go from here to here, here to here, and put those 4 in. Again, at the 5-inch tail mark. Hi, Jeannie. Hi, Sarah. Thanks for popping on and saying hello. Okay, we'll put these 2 in. And again, if you don't have rubber bands, slide it right into your zip tie till it hits your fingers. That was my 5-inch mark, and then pull your zip tie tail tight. Okay, 2 more. Sarah, if you join our broadcast channel, I usually send out right before, well, you know, half an hour before I go live, I will send out a notification that I'm going live on the broadcast channel. And also, if you hit the little bell or the down arrow, is it the down arrow where you can follow? It'll ask you to be, if you want to follow and get notified, and you're going to click that box. Now, Facebook's been doing all kinds of changes, so I don't know if they've changed that or what. We also have the events section. Now, I'm not good with myself by posting my events because I usually go live whenever I have a moment that I can go live. So it's usually last second, but I do notify. Yeah, this is quick and easy. Like I said, any layperson, once you put that yellow center in, they will not know it was the rose, right? The last one. And then we're going to move some of these around, put our center in, and we'll be done. Okay, that is the very last petal. So we're just going to go around, make sure. Okay, we can give these a tug to make sure that right in the center, and make sure that rounded part is sticking out. Again, this is just a very beginner way to make a daisy. You can use the lolly petal to make a more intricate daisy, but this works really well as well. Just want to make sure that the rounded part is what you see. So you're going to grab your petal right in the middle and give the middle a tug to make sure that the rounded part is not stuck between another petal. Okay, and now we're going to put our yellow center in. So where I'm going is right in the center there, those two holes. You're going to take one side of your pipe cleaner and put it down one hole, and then the other down the other hole. And there we go. Ow. Give it a pull. Don't be scared to, if you've hot glued it, don't be scared to pull your pipe cleaner. Okay, there we go. Give it a pull. We're going to give it a few twists. Cut the excess pipe cleaner off. Put it back down. So that is what your back is going to look like of your flower. Okay, we're going to put in the top here on row 1. You'll be able to, when you stick your fingers down, you can feel the chamfered hole. That's going to be your hanging holes. Now it's a daisy. You can put your hanger wherever you want. Okay, we do have dedicated hanging holes, but when you're doing a flower, it really doesn't matter. But it's the two holes are right above the logo here. And like I said, when you put your fingers down, you can feel that they're chamfered in. Okay, and then you're going to put your business card. You're going to tape your business card, put a sticker of your business on the back. When you have it flipped over like this, it's a good time to fix your green leaves. Trim your green leaves as well if you want, if you have any strings. Not bad. All right, so there's the back. And there's our front. Very super easy. Like I said, this is a great one if you have you want to have a workshop with your friends or something. This is a really, really easy, very easy daisy flower wreath. And if you put the green leaves on, which I recommend for the daisy, the green leaves really makes the daisy pop. And if from tip to tip of green leaves is 26 inches. The actual flower itself is 22 inches. Isn't it cute? Like, very simple. Looks like a daisy. You can flatten these out. A little bit easier than the lolly petal. Especially if you get the kit, then you have everything in your hand. So you get your zip ties, you get your rubber bands, you get your clips, you get your center, your ladybug. I believe this United States website is sold out. There is more. Okay, those are last year's daisy kits, and our shipment for this year should be here at the second week of February, hopefully. So they will be restocked. Same with the sunflower, and a few other kits will be restocked. But we're going to try and keep the daisy and sunflower always in stock on United States and Canada. And they will be shipping from Michigan if you order from the United States. Okay, so you get your board, you get everything. And it really does make a cute daisy very thin. It definitely will fit between 2 doors. Inexpensive to make and pretty easy to make. Alrighty. Isn't it cute? It really does look like a daisy. That's all I got for you. Again, you could do, this flower is kind of a standard flower. You can do it in any color. One of my favorites too is red with a yellow center. Just saying. And there we go. That is all I got for you for today. Is there any questions? I will edit this video. So when you come back to it to make yours, you can follow along and not listen to me yapping the whole 45 minutes I'm on here. It is really pretty, isn't it? Very, very easy, cute little, well, I wouldn't say little, but a cute daisy. Now you can do the same thing with the small board as well. It just won't be as large and you won't use as many petals. But if I'm making a flower wreath, I want that flower wreath to be seen from Mars. Okay, so if you got the kit, your mesh is going to be better mesh than I'm using right now. Okay, so you'll see that the mesh is different. This is just a iridescent white that I had kicking around. So I'm just using it for the actual tutorial. You can read in the description what kind of mesh you will get in your kit. Alrighty, and an FYI too, this white, the white horizontal wide stripe also makes a beautiful daisy. Okay, but you have to cut your own mesh. Saying that, I'm going to go put it up on my door in the middle of a snowstorm. Again, maybe the snow will melt. Who knows? Anyways, have yourself or your rest of your wonderful day. Stay warm, stay